Oh, yeah, it is true with that Milwaukee Brewer team. It's just kind of been the story of the franchise. They just can't stand success. Just when things are going in the right direction, you think things are going well. Plummeting back to reality they become. Score the 12 runs on Monday night, and now a 7-3 extra inning loss to the Rockies. And lose the season series to the Rockies as well. Not that matters. Those are games that we're going to look back on, I'll tell you that. There's a lot of those. We'll talk about that. Coming up next, a rare meltdown for the bullpen and what was going on with that lineup again tonight. We'll talk to you next here on Locked On Brewers.
You are Locked On Brewers, your daily Milwaukee Brewers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Everybody, yeah, disappointing, to say the least. Echoing the sentiments of Wade Miley after the game today, says it sucks when you lose at this time of the year. And it certainly does. Man, you go to Brewer Twitter after a game like this and you're thinking, what? I feel for all of us, man, because we want so bad for this team to have sustained success. And again, after they put up the 13 runs last Thursday, we thought, okay, maybe that's going to kickstart this team. And then they lay 3 duds offensively last weekend against the Pirates. And then they come back, Colorado, 12-1 on Monday night, kind of like last Thursday's game. Same thing. Come right back in a 7-3 loss, not much offense, and another quality start for a Brewer starter. Nothing to show for it. Hi, everybody. I'm Chuck Freeman. Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, longtime sportscaster here in the state of Wisconsin, longtime sports talk show host, and currently the AP Sports Network anchor and reporter. Cover the Brewers for over 40 years for those guys. Back when I was in high school, I was covered for those guys, still are. And you know what? I love the Brewers. I do. Like a lot of you guys out there. Love the Brewers. Just disappointing. And just put this in that whole page of Brewer disappointments. That whole encyclopedia of Brewer disappointments of 54 years of this team. Losing 7-3. Offensively, just 1 run in the last 4 innings against that Rocky bullpen, including Brent Suter. We'll get to him a little bit later on. Just not good. Locked On Podcast. You want to download our episodes? You can get us every day. All you everydayers out there who follow us along, Google, Spotify, Apple, we're on all the major apps that download podcasts. They're all on my Twitter account, Chuck Freeman, FREIMUND. YouTube, our growing YouTube audience. Go to YouTube, search Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe button, hit that like button. That's going to alert you every time we drop an episode. Drop your comments on there as well. Our growing YouTube audience, I hear guys telling me all the time, hey, you know what? They listen to us on the YouTube, getting up every morning. They're tuning us in on the YouTube app. They got it on the smart screen, watching us as we're getting ready on the 50-inch TV in the morning. Hey, anyway, you can go to your smart device. Go to your smart device and mention Locked On Brewers. It's going to pull up as well. That's another way to get us. The Brewers walked in 3 of the 4 runs the Rockies scored in the 10th inning. Andrew Chafin came on in the 10th inning in a 3-3 game. Runner on second, gave up a bunt single, which was the key in the inning. That loaded the bases. And then the walks just pour it in. And him and Uribe. Chafin was charged with 4 runs. All 4 runs give it up. And Uribe kind of helped get him out of that mess in a way. It could have been a lot worse. But Chafin came in the 10th inning, which goes back to what I said a long time ago. And I got a lot of bad reaction from Brewer fans on this one. My theory is to save the closer to the 10th inning and bring Andrew Chafin or your setup guy in the top half of the 9th inning at home. This way, you bring your high leverage guy, Devin Williams, in the top half of the 10th inning with a runner on second base. There's nobody on that team I trust with a runner on second, maybe Piamps, but there's nobody I trust more than Devin Williams, my all-star closer, in the top half of the 10th inning with that go-ahead run on second base. Okay? I got to prevent that run. Now, the naysayers out there will say this, well, you got to get him out in the 9th inning to get to the 10th inning. I get it. Because if Chafin comes in the 9th inning and he gives up a run and the Brewers don't score in the bottom half of the 9th inning, people say, why didn't you use your closer there? But how many times has it been where, okay, they bring in Devin Williams the top half of the 9th inning, and then the Brewers don't score in the bottom half of the 9th inning? They're just not going to score. You know, this team, scoring is not their strong suit. They're just not going to score in the top half or the bottom half of the 9th inning. I'll take my chances, and they didn't score in the bottom half of the 10th inning tonight either, but I'll take my chances with a runner at second and nobody out, that they should be able to get that run in, find a way, maybe somehow, if that's the winning run, bond them over, pray they do the right things, get that runner in. But again, my theory, save the closer for the top of the 10th inning. Let one of my high-profile relievers pitch the top of the 9th inning. You get to extra innings, and it's game on. The playing field between both teams just levels out. The bad teams and the good teams, because you're using the Bryce Wilsons of the world. He didn't pitch here, but you're using your guys. You're not your preferred guys. Chafin, okay, he's got some trust. He's been in high leverage spots before, but I still rather have Devin Williams pitch the 10th. Chafin was just bad tonight, but I still like him. He just had a bad outing. But please, it's never going to happen, because let's face it, if a manager thinks out of the box like that, like Chafin pitching the 9th and Devin Williams the 9th, or Devin Williams the 10th, and it doesn't work out, he gets destroyed. Yet he sets Sal Frelick against left-handed pitchers. One of the guys who's carrying you on offense, coming up with big hits. We're going to get to that coming up here in a little bit, because Counsell's taking some heat tonight. And this is late night after the Brewers Rockies. Wow. Walked in 3 of the 4 runs. That was bad. Something like on just 4 pitches. Like, wow, how bad is that? We'll get to the lineup and about Counsell taking some heat. There were some good things that happened in this game. Wade Miley, for one, got a no decision for a starting pitcher who pitched great. Where have you heard that one before? All that's coming up next here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. The show is brought to you in part by Bird Dogs. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB. Enter the promo code LockedOnMLB for a free white tech hat. I was talking about this hat yesterday here on the show. It's not some flimsy, wimpy hat they throw in a bag. It's a nice hat. It's a great golf hat. It's got the orange Bird Dogs logo on it. I love it. With every order, you're going to get one. If you put in that Locked On MLB for the promo code, you won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. I'll tell you more about Bird Dogs coming up a little bit later on. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers. Thank you, everydayers out there, for joining us, downloading us on the various platforms like Google and Spotify, and on YouTube. Locked On Brewers. Subscribe. Hit the like button. You'll get us all on YouTube and on those various platforms, because we're the #1 Brewer podcast out there for a reason, because Brewer fans out there make us. You guys out there make us the #1 podcast on the internet. Brewers and Rockies will thankfully wind up the series and wind up seeing we're done with the Rockies after this. Rockies have won the season series already. They've clinched the season series. And let's hope that the Brewers can at least take one of these games. Well, if they win tomorrow, they win on Wednesday, they'll take the home series with them after the Rockies swept them out in Colorado earlier this year. But that first pitch on Wednesday afternoon, those midweek afternoon games, 105 with that first pitch, 110, I should say, 110 with that first pitch. You get it on Sirius and Sirius XM. On the Sirius XM app, search Brewers, and you're going to get all 162. So Sirius or the Sirius XM or the Sirius XM app, search Brewers, and you're going to get all 162 of the Brewers and Rockies. Sorry for stumbling on my words there. It's been a late night covering these teams. But 6-game homestand that your boy was covering for AP tonight, and was a long night. But hey, you know what? I love my job. Just was a late night. We get back, we'll talk about the Heat and that lineup that Counsell put out there tonight. Boy, oh boy. Some of you were not happy. We'll get to that next here on Locked On Brewers. Welcome back to Locked On Brewers. I'm your host, Chuck Freeman. Fantasy baseball guys out there, there's a lot of you who think you can predict what these guys are going to do. If you're one of those guys who matchups, analytics, well, go to Sleeper, download the Sleeper app, and if you think a certain player can hit a home run tonight against an opposing pitcher, well, go to Sleeper. You could swing for the fences with 100 times the payouts. You could choose up to 2 to 8 players, more or less, on home runs, strikeouts, hits, and more. Get your picks right, and you could win big on the Sleeper app. Use the promo code Locked On. You'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms for use for details. Currently operational in over 30 states, so check out Sleeper today. Sleeper, well, again, you're going to get that match up to $100. Highest payouts on the DFS market. You could place in-game contests, and they have so many stat categories: home runs, triples, stolen bases. So choose up to 8 players. You could parlay up to 8 players and win big. Download the Sleeper app. Take advantage of the $100 payouts. Take advantage today. And, it's currently operational in over 30 states. But check out Sleeper today and check out their terms of use for details and a $100 match for your first deposit. Download Sleeper today. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We'll talk about that heat that Counsell took for today's lineup. I tweeted it out earlier today. I could not believe it. That's next here on Locked On Brewers. And, you look at this lineup, and it's just, I tweeted it out on the golf course a few hours before the game when the lineup came out. And I said, man alive, this is what we're going with tonight. Yelich leading off, Contreras batting second. Okay, I'm okay with those two. Mark Canha batting third. What has Mark Canha done to earn the third spot in the order? I know the left-hander was on the mound for the Rockies. I get it. Tyrone Taylor batting fourth. Now, Taylor's been hot as of the last 6 games or so. Okay, but I feel like when a guy gets on a roll, Counsell likes to not only put him in the lineup, but he puts him like fourth in the lineup. He'll put anybody in the fourth in the lineup. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're a home run hitter or not. You have a little bit of success, you're back in there. Monesterio batted fifth. He had a tying home run in the 7th inning. Monesterio just keeps going out there and hitting. He played second base again tonight. Adames got the rest. 2 days in a row. Joey Wiemer in the 6th spot. Not that Joey, in all due respect to Joey Wiemer, not that he has earned the 6th spot in the lineup, but they had to move him up because Brian Anderson was in the lineup tonight. So Wiemer was 6th, Caratini 7th, Turang 8th. Brian Anderson played third base and batted 9th. Man, that's a terrible lineup. And I think everybody agreed with him. And I know the left-handers on the mound, but how in the right conscience can you not put Sal Frelick in the lineup? A guy who's had 15 RBIs in his first 16 games, fastest of 15 RBIs in Brewer history. Yet you get to the ballpark and you say, I don't think I'm not going to play him today. I'll give a day off. He's only my hottest hitter, but that's okay. Left-hander on the hill. Let's stack up that right-handed lineup. How did that work? Canada did have a base hit in the sixth inning to give the Brewers a 2-1 lead, a double. First big hit as a Brewer, little opposite field gapper. But Frelick, I wish Adames was back in the lineup. Terang starting to get hot a little bit. Taylor hit the home run on Monday for the Brewers. But to put Taylor in the 4-hole right away, I just don't get it. He responded with an 0 for 3. Canada did go 1 for 4. It did bad in that run. I just feel like when Canada was with the Mets, wasn't having a very good year this year, but I feel like, man, he was a clutch hitter at times for them. All right. So far has done nothing with the Brewers. Also tonight, they gave Santana the night off at first base. So Santana, Adames, and Frelick. 3 heart of the order guys. Adames has been struggling. We talked about that. Frelick is one of your better hitters, and Santana has been scuffling since he got here. But 2 of those 3 guys are left-handed hitters. I don't know. I just continue, like I said a couple of episodes ago, I just would find it hard not to put Frelick in every day. Get him in there. Some of you guys agree with me too. On Twitter, I put that out. And boy, I got flooded with many of them. Justin, wow, that was tough to watch. Hags, Chuck, I just don't understand Counsell anymore. It started with that lineup. Canna and then Taylor 3-4. And then pulling Miley after 80 pitches. Well, Miley's still coming back from the injury. I get it. But girl, maybe you got to move him out of that 7th inning spot. He's starting to tire. I would be good with Uribe, who came in a tough spot in the 10th inning, bases loaded. You threw Uribe in, a rookie, but you got all these guys. These young guys are learning. That's why I said, okay, if you're going to throw Uribe in the 10th inning, and you're going to say, well, Counsell's going to say, well, he's got to pitch spots. Well, then how come Frelick can't bat against left-handers? I mean, his numbers can't be that. Well, does he have any numbers against lefties? He never plays against them. I think this is like 3 times now he's sat against lefties. Harley says, I don't blame the offense tonight. This loss is on Counsell and the bullpen. The offense stunk. Well, the lineup stunk too. Harley also says, starts with the owner, which forces Arnold to get scrap heap players like Santana, Canna, and Chafin. I did actually like the Chafin matchup. He didn't pitch well tonight. Counsell horribly mismanaged today's pitchers. Evan says, this team is a joke, he says, continuing to find ways to lose winnable games. Boy, man, Counsell took some heat for this lineup tonight. Buck says, why in the world would Counsell bring Uribe in that situation? His plan was Counsell's plan was to only pitch Chafin 3 batters in the 10th inning, and then he was going to bring in Uribe no matter what. That's what he said. He said, I was going to bring in Chafin for 3, and that 4th guy, it was going to be Uribe's guy. Wade Miley, another starter who got the job done, didn't get anything for his efforts. 6 innings, 2 hits, gave up 1 run. The only mistake he gave up that home run to Nolan Jones, who had 2 of them. Fast rising star for the Rockies, Nolan Jones, like him. Left-handed, left fielder, I should say. Right-handed hitter, left fielder. Plays right field, left field. Good hitter. Miley said that was the only mistake he made of the night. Give just 2 hits through 6 innings. Quality start. Couldn't get him a win because you only scored 3 runs. And as mentioned earlier, that Rocky bullpen led by Brent Suter. According to Bud Black, Brent Suter was clawing and scratching to get into one of these games in Milwaukee. He wanted to pitch against his former team, the team that basically cut him loose, didn't want him anymore. Boy, Brent Suter would look good in his team. He would. And because he's having a real good year with the Rockies. On a bad Rockies team, he's having a good year. Pitched an inning and a third. Part of that bullpen, they gave up just 1 hit over the final 4 innings. But he said, Bud Black, the manager of the Rockies, said, this was big for Brent Suter. A likable guy in Milwaukee, a popular player with the fans. Played here from 2016 to 2022. Starter, reliever. Came in. Got some big outs. Quick worker. Got some big outs with this team. Little surprised the Brewers did not offer him, but he went to the Rockies and he's had success, but he was dying to get in there and pitch it against Brewers. Bud Black's words were, this was big for him. He really wanted to pitch. How about that? And he's a good guy, Brent Suter. Just didn't want to see him pitch well against the Brewers, and he did. All right, we'll tell you about the matchup coming up in the finale against the Wednesday Rockies. The lineup against the Rockies on Wednesday. Because hopefully the Brewers get back to their normal lineup. There is a right-hander pitching. Chris Flexen is on the mound. He's 1-5. This show is brought to you in part by Bird Dogs. Bird Dogs makes you look good. Stretch khaki shorts designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. No more of that stiff, restricting cotton that shorts are like. They got a better way. They fixed that issue. Bird Dogs did by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki but stretches it away. You get a slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. Bird Dogs also uses anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that'll keep you cool and dry all day long. And with fall approaching, you're going to want to look good in those Bird Dog golf pants. They don't call them golf pants, but I do. I used them last June and May, Wisconsin weather, and they were fantastic for me. Check them out. Go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB and enter the promo code LockedOnMLB for that free white tech hat I was talking about earlier in the show. You get it with every order, but you got to enter the promo code LockedOnMLB for that free hat. The little orange Bird Dogs logo on it. And it'll look good on you as well when you're out on the golf course. Brewers and Rockies finish up this 6-game homestand for the Brewers. 1:10 that first pitch coming up on Wednesday afternoon, mid-afternoon. Hey, you know what? The kids are out of school. There's not too many of these midweek games left during the summer vacation. There's some in September, I believe. I think there is. I just got to be. But, yeah, as you know, summer's winding down, unfortunately. Get out there. Get out to the ballpark. Always a great place to be. I'll be out there Wednesday afternoon, cover the game, walk it around a little bit before the game. Check it out, the Sea League experience, maybe tomorrow as well. Chuck Freeman here on Locked On Brewers, and you get every game of the Brewers season, all 162 on Sirius, the Sirius XM app. Search Brewers, and you're going to get all 162 of the Brewers season right there on Sirius XM. All right, we'll return and talk about this matchup coming up on Wednesday afternoon. That's next here on Locked On Brewers. Chuck Freeman back here on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day. Chris Flexen, as I mentioned, for the Rockies, he's not good. Right-hander. Doesn't matter, though. The Brewers have made a lot of pitchers look like Cy Young this year. Adrian Houser starts. He's on that 5th spot in that rotation. Houser, if this team is to go to the postseason, Houser's going to be moved to the bullpen. I mean, Counsell hasn't said that, but obviously, I mean, the writing on the wall with their first 4 guys. I mean, I would love to go to a 3-man rotation, but we'll see if they go to a 4th with Miley. If they get to a series where they have to use 4, one of those longer series, but Houser's definitely moving to the bullpen. And when the season started, I liked him better on the bullpen anyway. But he's given them some solid starts. He's had some rocky ones as well. No pun intended against the Rockies. But Houser's going to make the start. Houser's going to go out there, and he's going to have to give them some innings. And, could be a high-scoring game if the Brewers get their offense going against Flexen on Wednesday afternoon. Either way, we're going to be back here talking about the game later on Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night. We'll be dropping Locked On Brewers. Get us on Google, Spotify, Apple, all the major apps out there that download. Thank you, everybody, all you everydayers who listen to us at work, school, getting ready, getting your classrooms ready, making your business appointments, following us on YouTube, watching us in the morning or anytime during the day on the big screen. Go to Locked On Brewers, hit the subscribe, hit the like button. We'll alert you of all 162 right here on Locked On Brewers. Talking Brewers baseball with you, pushing and dragging this team into the postseason, hoping to do so. Brewers, again, taking on the Rockies, the final game, 1:10 with that first pitch coming up on Wednesday. And then they have the off day Thursday in Chicago for first of 3 against the White Sox on Friday night. Have yourself a great Wednesday. Go Brewers. Come on. Let's take this game and wind up this. Actually, it's a 7-game homestand. That's right. It was 4 against the Pirates. The 7-game homestand. They'll wind up. Talk to you after the game, everybody. Chuck Freeman on Locked On Brewers, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team every day.